So you have to have goals. But there's all sorts of ways to set goals. Today we're going to talk about creating a vision board.
Hi, my name is Michael Johnson. I'm a ballroom dance professional, a life coach, and a peak performance expert. I'm part of a group of motivated people who are dedicated to attaining emotional mastery and unlocking our full potential. We don't believe others are responsible for how we feel. In fact, we don't believe anyone can make us feel anything. We believe in the magic of ballroom dance. It has taught us how to improve our bodies, challenge our minds, and inspire our souls. And in return, I want to share those lessons with the world. We are lifers, and this is Magic for Life.
What's up, lifers? This is Michael Johnson and Magic for Life podcast. I'm so excited to join you today and talk about some targeting goals and some future-based goals that can drive us to them. Today we have a who I would consider a very special guest joining me. This is my daughter, Nikki. Say hi, Nikki.
Hi, guys. What's up?
And today Nikki has joined me because I needed her help just around the business doing some things. So she took some time out of her schoolwork to come and join me. And so I asked her to join me on this podcast because she has a lot of experience doing what we're going to talk about today. Maybe a while back, I kind of brought this idea into my children and my family's life of creating a vision board. And you might have heard of creating a vision board in the past. But maybe you haven't. And if this is the first time you're hearing of it, well, then I'm super excited for you. One of the things that you have to realize is the mind and the body are a very interesting place. In your mind can create solutions to problems. And maybe we've all had that experience where you've had some sort of problem that you're trying to solve and you go to bed and you wake up in the middle of the night or the next morning you go, oh, I know what to do to solve it, because your mind goes through the process of trying to accomplish that thing that you set as a task in your head. So
yeah, it's like the one guy who keeps a notebook next to his bed.
Oh yeah.
So in the middle of the night, if he wakes up, he can go over and write that idea down.
I don't know about you, but oftentimes when I go to sleep, I'm usually have used up every bit of energy that I have. So I usually don't wake up often in the nighttime, but I do find myself finding solutions and answers to problems in the morning time when I'm in the shower, especially. I come up with lots of ideas.
Especially in the shower. One time I was in the shower, actually, and I had to figure out this idea for a school project, and I had no idea what I was going to do. And in the shower, I had this amazing idea, and I had nowhere to write it down. It was common.
It's annoying because then it's like, okay, can I write this down in Steam? How am I going to do this on the wall? So you have to run out and get your phone or something to write in. So, but the idea here is simple. The mind doesn't know the difference between imagination and reality. And so your being will imagine all sorts of things in your mind that you're entirely capable of creating this sort of alternate reality within your mind that isn't necessarily based upon reality. So the idea here is that we are creating a vision board so that we can see our goals and see it very clearly. And so the idea is simple. What we did, if you remember, Nikki, the first time I had you do it, with the family, we created, we got a poster board just from Walmart. You can go buy a poster board at Walmart for like $1.50 or something.
Oh yeah.
Do you remember that?
We went to Walmart and we got those poster boards, and then we went around the mall taking pictures of things we wanted to put on our vision board.
Because we wanted to start with the idea of let's take the material things, because everything in life isn't about the material things, but I think it's a great place to start because oftentimes the material things are in the forefront of your mind. And so it's a good way to get those things sort of put on paper, so to speak, and get them out. So what we did was instead of going around the mall and buying the stuff, we took pictures.
Yeah, because you always want something. Even if you don't process it in your mind, you always want something.
Yeah, well, and that's kind of what we're here. We're trying to better our lives. We're trying to improve our situation. And we want to do things that we enjoy. And so we went around and took pictures, and it became a fun family thing. So it's something that's fun to do with the family. And then we just printed the pictures out and we cut them out and we cut out the things that we wanted and glued them onto our vision board. But in doing that, we also talked about other things that weren't necessarily like items or material things. We talked about things that were conceptual, like what do we want to do, places we wanted to visit, maybe things that represented situations and represented time spent. And for me, I had a picture of this little cove in Italy, and it wasn't a specific place particularly, but it was a idea of what I wanted to do and go spend time with my family there someday. And so I put it on my vision board. What kind of things did you put on yours?
I think that it could honestly be anything, because it could be like something small, like you want a family in the future. Because for me, I put on like a family. I wanted a great house, a car, all this other stuff. I wanted to be fluent in like math, because that's one thing that I've been struggling with. So
Sure.
It's just something I've been wanting to catch up on. There's just, you could do anything.
Nice. And the little girls, right? My youngest right now are 7 and 6. And so the little girls were cute because they put pictures of dolls and they put pictures of other things that they are looking forward to. But one of my third, in the line of my 4 children, she decided that she wanted a ranch. She wants a farm where she can have horses and where she can raise animals. And so that's kind of the thing that she started putting on our vision board. And I remember her asking, well, Dad, is that too, is it too big, or is that too much to think of? And I thought, gosh, this is a great lesson, because it's not about it being too much. It's about you dreaming for what it is that you'd like, and then envisioning it, putting it in your mind, making it come clear in your mind, but having some things that remind you of the things that you're dreaming for and the things that you want to shoot for and aim at. And the thing about having a vision board is every day you can see it. It'll be right there. Now, what I did was, once our vision boards were completed, I took a picture of it and put it on my phone. And there are apps out there that'll do it. There's some different cool apps that'll do vision board ideas. But I mean, gosh, there's nothing quite like doing it by hand, because you actually take the time to do it. You can draw on your board, or you can write things on your board. Or what kind of things did you write on your board?
I wrote a lot of quotes on my board.
Okay.
And I was just going to say that you could make multiple. Like, it doesn't have to be all on one vision board.
Sure.
Because for me, I've made at least 4.
Oh, yeah.
So I've done like 2 for home, 1 at your dance camp that I went to, 1 for school, like all
Sure.
these other things. It was really fun.
Well, and through the years, I've done numerous vision boards throughout my life, and even just the process of writing down your goals. It's really fun when you can dig those out after they've been put away for a little while, and you find out that everything on your board that you've attained, and honestly, more often than not, you have attained the things that you put on your vision boards and that you come back to later on.
Yeah, you could also add things onto the vision board. Like, you never have to stop.
That's true.
You can, like, if you remember something the next day, you can just hurry and put it on there.
Yeah. I remember looking back at some of my old vision boards and seeing something that was on it and realizing, gosh, you know what? I did want that at the time, but based off of the direction my life went, it was kind of one of those, thank goodness that didn't happen. And I think that a lot of people are afraid to do vision boards. They're afraid to set goals and write them down because they're so afraid of the power of us setting goals, because they can feel, we know innately that if we write things down and if we create something that's visual of what it is we want, that we're going to get it. And that there's a little bit of like known internal fear that if we write this down, we're going to get it. And that kind of scary, because what would have to happen in order for us to do that? And a lot of things have to happen. Sometimes you have to become the person that is capable of attaining that goal or attaining that thing you put on your vision board, whether it be becoming a speaker, or whether it becoming an entrepreneur and running your own business, or whether it's just, maybe it's you want to be an artist or a photographer or maybe an accountant, and being able to see that and head towards it. These targets kind of act as just that, a target. They act as something that you can aim at and make sure that along the way you can make the course corrections that are necessary in order to attain that goal. And it serves as a marker, a beacon, sort of a lighthouse. That way, if you're in a boat in the ocean, you could see that light and you can aim and head towards it.
Yeah. So that kind of reminds me of the quote we have above the door.
Oh, yeah.
It says,
here at the studio, we have a lovely quote right above our door.
Yeah, it says, everything you've ever wanted is on the other side of fear.
And that's totally it, right? And having a vision board kind of, it's important to dream big.
Makes you let loose, makes you think about what you want.
Absolutely.
How to go after it.
And you have to be able to address that thing that we all deal with, which is fear, right? And I'm sure we'll have a podcast where we talk about fear, because that's a big subject and a big deal. Yep. Right now, I think the big thing is that what Nikki and I are trying to get across to you is that we've had such great experiences creating our own vision boards, and it's so easy to do. You can get, like I said, a poster board at Walmart. One of the vision boards I did was all of my mission statements and my incantations. I notice I say incantations, right? And I wrote them all down, and I wrote them in different font or different writing. I guess if I'm writing them, it's not fonts, right? But I wrote them in different handwriting and create them in colors so that I could see them and get them memorized into my mind, my mission statement, my incantations, the affirmations that I'm trying to program my mind to be focused on. And so that's a different type of vision board, but it's with the words, not with the pictures per se.
It's like another topic that we can talk about is the body, the mind, and the soul.
Right, exactly. And we want to be able to get all those things to come together and work as one. And so that triangle of the body, mind, soul, this one is really taking care of the mind and being able to visualize, be able to hear and see and feel exactly what it is that you want. And that's one of the secrets. I mean, honestly, that's one of the secrets of living a successful life, is being able to utilize your senses in their maximum capability to be able to realize what it is that you'd like in your life and make it come to life.
And if you want it enough, you're eventually going to get it.
That's right. And if you're willing to do whatever it takes to get there, to get that to come true, then the idea is that you don't have to worry about if you're going to get it. It's merely just a matter of when.
So I listened to this guy named Caleb that you showed me.
Caleb Maddox. We love Caleb Maddox.
He's great. So he says that if you're not willing to work for it, then don't go. Like, why do you complain about it?
Right. Lots of people do that, right? That seems like a common place, is people love to complain about things that they're not willing to work for, right? And quick shout out to Caleb Maddox. If you haven't heard of him, you should go check out his podcast. It's pretty cool.
And Russell Brunson.
Oh, of course. Well, you can't not listen to Russell Brunson's podcast. So, so there's a lot of great podcasts out there and that teach a lot of really cool things. For today, though, why don't you get yourself committed, right? Why don't you think about it? Like, you could stop at Walmart on the way home from whatever it is you're doing, and stop at Walmart, grab a poster board, and just start to think about what you could put on that podcast, or on the podcast, on the vision board. And what we did at one point when we did it with our dance camp one year, right? We did a vision boards for everybody, and we went around to a lot of the local businesses and said, hey, you know what? You guys have magazines in your offices, and you're probably going to throw them away because you get new magazines every month. And so if you go around to some local businesses, some corporate businesses, doctors' offices, and you ask them for their old magazines, you can go through and gain a whole lot of magazines that you don't have to pay for, so it's free. And you can clip out things that represent what it is that you're aiming for, what your goals are, what your hopes and dreams are. And the only one thing that it would encourage you to do here that's very particular is dream big. You got to dream big, because
you can never have a dream that's too big.
Never.
You just have to be willing to work for it.
And it's crazy. And there's over and over again, there's so many examples of that. You take somebody like Walt Disney, or, just so many in our history of these people that have dreamed so far beyond what everybody else thought was possible. And they attained it, and now we revere those people. And really, that's because we respect the fact that they dreamed big and went after it and did what it took to get to their dream. And thank goodness, right? Because now we can go to space. Now we have computers. Now we have, automobiles. There's all sorts of crazy things that we have because somebody dreamed big.
People are willing to work for it.
That's it. Yeah, you got to work hard.
Yeah.
Have some discipline. A little bit of sacrifice, and that's a great recipe for success. Anyway, we hope you will go out and do a vision board today. Don't make it too complicated. Don't overthink it. I done this a number of times with a lot of my clients and people that I've worked with, and of course even my family. And one thing that I see over and over again is people make it too complicated. They overthink it. They want it to look the best or the most perfect thing that they've ever created, and so then they stop halfway. Basically, it
can be as messy as you want it.
Absolutely. And it's brainstorming for your goals and the ideas that you think you want. And like I said, you can go get magazines for free from businesses that aren't going to use those magazines. You can walk around the mall or the store and take pictures of some of the material things that you'd like. You can look up pictures on the internet and Google anything you want and pull up a picture of it and print it out.
Draw them if you're an artist.
Yeah, if you like to draw it. But honestly, don't overthink it. Don't make it too complicated. Literally sit down, give yourself 2-3 hours. If you have that much time, gosh, you could do it faster than that if you really wanted to. But give yourself 2-3 hours. It's a great Sunday afternoon exercise when the family's together. It's a good exercise to just really take it to the next level and start to give yourself the ability and gift of thinking about where you'd like to go. And then later on, we can talk about how to get to that end, but you've got to at least get your mind on track and on pace to head in the direction that you want to go. And I always tease and say, hey, if you wanted to go to Disneyland, if we wanted to take a trip to Disneyland, the worst way to get to Disneyland is just to start driving and get on some freeway and just kind of say, okay, I'm going to Disneyland. You could end up in Canada, for goodness sakes, and not know where you're going. So what do you have to do? Well, first of all, you have to have an idea of where you're going. You have to
map it out.
And then you have to map it out. That's right. Mm-hmm. That's right. And so we have to map it out, and we have to head in the right direction. And you hear that all the time. We got to head in the right direction. So that target allows us to be able to head in the right direction. And then it's important that we start to learn how to enjoy the journey. But along the way, we've got to still have a map, and we still have to have a destination. And those two things are important.
It's about the journey.
It's about the journey. That's right.
Yep.
And the destination actually can be more rewarding if the journey is appreciated. And that's a pretty big thing. So anyway, that's what we wanted to get on to tell you today. I'm so happy and thankful that Nikki joined us today. And
if you're new, make sure to subscribe.
That's right. If you're new, subscribe to the Magic for Life podcast. We'd love to have you join us. We do interviews with all sorts of great and talented people. We do a lot of life coaching and personal development stuff on this channel. So if you're new, please subscribe and like. And if you know of somebody in your world or your life that this would help, if you think, gosh, that's a great message, I'd love them to hear this because they need this right now, please share it with them. We want to change the world, and we start by doing it one person at a time, and that's the way to go. If you are new to my channel, sometimes I talk about my children and what they're doing as well. Nikki has a podcast that'll be coming out here pretty soon. We're in the final productions phases of it. What's your podcast name?
It's called Teenager Hacks 101, and you guys can join me into the journey to the 1%.
Uh-oh, the 1%. That sounds intriguing. I guess they're going to have to go and subscribe to your podcast to find out what it is. Yep. It'll be out soon. We're in the final phases.
You want to know what the 1% is? You better come find me.
That's right. So come and join her on her podcast and subscribe to ours and to Magic for Life and share it with other people. We are so thankful and grateful you found your way to us today, and we hope that this message will help change your life for the better. And if you can pass it on to somebody else that you feel needs it, then that would help us be able to change the world one person at a time. So we're so grateful for you today and for you showing up, and we hope you enjoyed the podcast. Peace out.
Peace out, guys.
Are you loving Magic for Life? Please like and share our podcast on iTunes or wherever you listen to your podcasts. Interested in learning to ballroom dance? Check out ballroomforlife.com/free for a free 3-day trial. You can learn to dance right in your own living room and change your life forever.